Good morning. It is Tuesday, January the 15th, and this is The Drill. And thank you very much. This is Ron, your host, the only true conservative in the United States of America today, because I'm the only one that makes the presumption for the status quo. When the Waters Were Changed, and this is a selection from a book by Idris Shah, and it's Tales of the Dervishes. Once upon a time, the teacher of Moses called upon mankind with a warning. At a certain date, he said, all the waters in the world which had not been specially hoarded would disappear. It would then be renewed with different water, which would drive men mad. Only one man listened to the meaning of this advice. He collected water and went to a secure place where he stored it, and waited for the water to change its character. On the appointed date, the stream stopped running, the wells went dry, and the man who had listened, seeing this happening, went to his retreat and drank his preserved water. When he saw from his security the waterfalls again beginning to flow, this man descended among the other sons of men. He found that they were thinking and talking in an entirely different way from before, yet they had no memory of what had happened, nor of having been warned. When he tried to talk to them, he realized that they thought that he was mad, and they showed hostility or compassion, not understanding. At first he drank none of the new water, but he went back to his concealment to draw on his supplies every day. Finally, however, he took the decision to drink the new water, because he could not bear the loneliness of living, behaving, and thinking in a different way from everyone else. He drank the new water and became like the rest. Then he forgot all about his own store of special water, and his fellows began to look upon him as a madman who had miraculously been restored to sanity. And this again illustrates the battle that's going on in this country, which is a battle not in politics between liberals and conservatives or between Democrats and Republicans, but a battle about sanity. When I was a parking lot attendant, I had a woman that once walked up to me, and as soon as she opened her mouth and started talking to me, I knew she was a liberal. I knew she was a socialist. She was a lefty immediately because of the way she started the conversation. So she goes, and it went like this. She says to me, hi, you must be an artist. And I don't remember the rest of the conversation. The rest of it was kind of chit-chat or whatever. But as soon as she said that, I knew immediately that she must be a lefty. Why? Because what she's doing here is exercising power. She is acting as if. This is what the books, all the books on how to have friends tell you to do. Act as if and basically pretend. If you want to have a lot of friends, just pretend that you're popular, even if you don't feel popular, and that pretty soon that you will start acting that way, and people will respond to you in that kind of a way. So she puts me under, when she does this, she puts me under a lot of pressure to respond in the way that it's like if somebody comes up and hits on why ladies don't like it when you come up to them and use lines on them. Because one woman explained, because if you're going to be phony, then I feel like I'm under pressure to be phony as well. And I don't want to be phony. And that's what this woman was basically doing. She's being phony. She doesn't know about whether or not I'm an artist or a schmartist or a tartist. All she knows for reality is that I'm a parking lot attendant. She knows that because of where I am. I'm wearing ID. I was wearing a shirt with the name of the company on it and all that. And so she knows that I'm an easy target. She can come over to me. She can assume the clothes, so to speak, to use a sales term, and come over and ask me this intrusive question about whether or not I'm an artist, because she knows she can get away with it. That if I balk, if I say no, if I refuse to respond, if I give her a negative response, that she can go and tell my supervisors and get me into trouble, possibly even get me fired. Not only does she know that, she knows I know that. And that's the dynamic that's going on here. And so she thinks that she's exercising some sort of power. The conversation didn't last long, and she went along her way because my attitude was, oh, crap. This woman is, it's like a salesman. It's like dealing with a salesman, except they're not selling anything. I guess or put a different way, they're probably selling themselves. Something like that. But all I could think of was not, hey, wow, what a wonderful person. Wow, this is somebody I really want to get to know. No, it was the opposite. It was like, okay, you want to pretend? Do you want to play games? Fine, I'll play along with you because I have to, because I'm at work and I dare not piss you off because I know I'm going to end up getting in trouble. So I'll play the game and I'm going to hope you go away as fast as you can. I want to end this conversation quickly. I'm going to be polite, but I'm not going to give you any extra information with which to continue the conversation. So then you'll go away, and then I'm going to keep an eye out for you. And every time I see you, I'm going to run. That's right, run, not walk. Run the other direction. Okay, so the woman hasn't accomplished anything. Now, what way should she have done it? If she was doing it the right way, the conservative way, the normal way, she would have walked up to me if she truly thought that I seemed to be an artist or somebody that she was found interesting in some way, shape, or form, and introduce herself. Okay? The left is fascinated with informality. The left shuns formalities. One of the ways you can quickly tell who's left and who's right. The left is very, very informal. There's a lot of conservatives that have happened to be informal as well because they feel like they're under pressure to conform to the social norms of the day. And in this particular case, informality. So if she walked up and said, "Hi, my name is so-and-so," and then I would have responded, "My name is such and such. My name's Ron." So then she would have then told me why she approached me. I just wanted to come up and let you know that I like your style. To me, your style strikes me as that of an artist. If you don't mind my asking, are you an artist? Because all of that shows respect. Respect for another person. It's a way of saying you count, you matter, you're important. Her way of doing things says she counts, she matters, she's important, and I'm nothing. So, when I come back, I'm going to be reading from the Ayn Rand lexicon, and after that, I'm going to pick up where I left off yesterday on the 30 covert manipulation techniques. And thank you very much. Welcome back. Let's see what we got here. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, we did that economic power versus political power yesterday. Here we go. Education is the concept of the day. And the only purpose of education is to teach a student how to live his life by developing his mind and equipping him to deal with reality. The training he needs is theoretical, i.e., conceptual. He has to be taught to think, to understand, to integrate, to prove. He has to be taught the essentials of the knowledge discovered in the past, and he has to be equipped to gain further knowledge by his own effort. I would also say that he really has to be taught how he learns, how it is that human beings learn. That human beings don't learn in a straight line. It's not like as simple as, it's not like a slope that goes at a 45 degree angle and ever going upward. It's more like stairs or a shape of a jagged shape like a lightning bolt kind of thing, where you learn in spurts. So you learn something today, maybe tomorrow or the next day, you hit a flat spot where you don't feel like you're learning anything. And you're thinking, what's going on here? I don't feel like I'm learning anything. Or you may even feel you're going backwards. You can't even remember what it is you learned yesterday or the day before. And then you start, of course, doubting yourself. I'm stupid. I can't handle this class. Can't deal with it. I need to drop the class. I need to, who am I fooling? I need to quit trying to educate myself. And kids need to be made to understand it's normal. It's normal to have setbacks. It's normal to have flat spots, that you hang in there and that eventually what's going to happen is you're going to have the aha moment. You're going to struggle, and then you're going to have that moment where you go, oh, now I get it. Now I get it. Boom, learning has occurred. And then you're going to hit another flat spot again, and then you're going to have another aha moment, and a flat spot, and an aha moment. That's the way it works. Okay, so they need to learn that, because otherwise they end up having unrealistic expectations, and those unrealistic expectations lead to unnecessary failure. Back to the book. The academia jet set coalition is attempting to tame the American character by the deliberate breeding of helplessness and resignation in those incubators of lethargy known as progressive schools, which are dedicated to the task of crippling a child's mind by arresting his cognitive development. See the Comprachicos in my book, The New Left, The Anti-Industrial Revolution. It appears, however, that the progressive rich will be the first victims of their own social theories. It is the children of the well-to-do who emerge from expensive nursery schools and colleges as hippies and destroy the remnants of their paralyzed brains by means of drugs. The middle class has created an antidote which is perhaps the most helpful movement of recent years, the spontaneous, unorganized grassroots revival of the Montessori system of education, a system aimed at the development of a child's cognitive, i.e. rational, faculty. So also what I would add to that, where she was talking about is attempting to tame the American character by deliberate breeding of helplessness and resignation in the progressive schools, which are dedicated to crippling a child's mind. Basically, is that what they're trying to do is play down the importance of learning at all, of having knowledge, of gaining knowledge. That what they're trying to do in a progressive school is play up the advantages of socializing. As far as the left is concerned, the only reason anybody is successful is because of not what they know, but who they know. And that is more a matter of luck than anything else. So if you get children to be social and sociable, they will end up meeting with and being agreeable with the right people who will end up getting them the right jobs, and then they will be successful and prosperous and happy, etc. Not so. You may end up meeting the right people, but if you don't have any intelligence, if you have nothing to offer the right people, you're not likely to get a job or much of anything else. And when I come back, I'm going to be reading from we had started yesterday, the list of the 30 covert manipulative tactics, and we'll be continuing with that when I come back. Thank you very much. And let's see, yesterday we did backing into an emotional corner, negative reinforcement, and the king of all, intermittent reinforcement. And those are the first 3 of the 30. And so now we're going to pick it up with the 4th one, which is called shifting the focus. And these are all tactics, covert tactics and techniques, usually used by narcissists, but definitely by manipulative people in order to try to get what they want and need. Shifting the focus usually happens along with the tactic of backing into an emotional corner, but it can happen even if you confront a manipulator in a matter-of-fact way, without emotional drama, and he or she has something to hide. With this tactic, you attempt to talk about a concern you have with the manipulator, such as suspicion that he or she is cheating on you. Instead of dealing with the stated concern, the manipulator simply denies your allegations, expresses incredulity that you could even think such a thing about them, and then discusses the real problem, your supposed character flaw, such as insecurity or jealousy, making it clear that they find it highly unattractive. Since this is yet another tactic that makes you believe the relationship is in trouble and it is your fault, you learn not to ask questions and instead doubt your suspicions and yourself. An interesting and surprisingly common example of shifting the focus. Quote, you have the strong suspicions that your partner is having an affair. Gaining access to his or her email or text messages reveals evidence that supports your suspicions. You confront the manipulator with the evidence, and the focus is immediately shifted to your invasion of his or her privacy and, ironically, to your lack of trust. Somehow it works. Manipulators will try anything, no matter how outrageous it may be, and they are often successful. When you are immersed in the confusing world they create, normal rules don't seem to apply anymore. So, the other thing I was going to say is that works for a romantic relationship, but it also works at work. This is also something that a tactic you'll see used at work by your boss. So, for instance, let's say instead of cheating on you, you've got evidence that the boss is playing favorites, for instance, giving somebody special favors, allowing them to come in late or leave early or whatever, or maybe pay related, and you confront the boss. And so again, the boss, instead of dealing with the issue at hand, which is either coming up with a legitimate explanation for why it is this person's getting special treatment, or telling you that you're right and that they should knock it off and will change things to make sure they don't get any special treatment anymore, they change the focus of the conversation and say, well, you're kind of suspicious. Or the one I love the best I used to hear in the Air Force all the time was, well, you're not really a team player, are you? And I remember one time when I was stationed in Texas, and I was dealing with a chief master sergeant who happened to be my supervisor, and we were having what we used to call in the Air Force a come to Jesus meeting. And so he was basically verbally reprimanding me and telling me what a bad guy I was. And one of the phrases he used, and I was waiting for it. He said, "You're not a team player." Oh no, and he says, it wasn't even a team player. Another one that the manipulators like to use is, "You have a can't-do attitude." And I sat on that and I said, really? Well, let's take a look at things here. Last time I went and I came to you and I asked for a piece of equipment that I needed in order to do my job better. And what did you say? I can't. And I rattled off 4 or 5 times when I came to him, my supervisor, and asked him again for help with something, for equipment, for support, for whatever. And I hear over and over and over, I can't. And he sat there for a second, and then in a very small voice, he said, "Well, we're doing the best that we can." And I just smiled at him. But those are the things that you'll hear. What I'm reading to you right now is not just has to do with personal relationships, but very often with professional relationships and dealing with supervisors, coworkers, even clients. Back to the book. Let's see. Number 5, premature disclosure. Using this tactic, manipulators reveal intimate information about themselves early on to create a false sense of intimacy for the purpose of gaining your trust. I've run across this one several times. The manipulator's self-disclosure can include their thoughts, feelings, goals, fears, dreams, embarrassments, likes and dislikes, and successes and failures. You'll feel free to disclose things about yourself in return. Self-revelation involves vulnerability because of the risk of rejection, but when the disclosure is met with acceptance and understanding, it creates emotional intimacy and trust. This is especially so when the manipulator says she feels the same way you do and that she likes the same things or that she had the very same thing happen to her. There's also the opportunity to impress the target by disclosing achievements and philanthropic or compassionate acts. Manipulators count on this normal bonding behavior to work in their favor. And so that's a kind of a tricky one to get out of, where people will walk up to you, coworkers usually, and they want to disclose personal information about themselves. And again, they do that in the hopes that you're going to go ahead and reciprocate, that you're going to disclose. Then you feel put you under pressure to disclose information about yourself, and it creates a false sense of intimacy. And all of this, again, goes under the heading of fake it till you make it. You want to make friends, and then basically it is manipulate your way into friendship. No, do things right. Respect the other individual, introduce yourself, and if you want to disclose personal information, then ask them. Ask permission first. I've got a kind of a personal thing I want to ask you about. Do you mind? And also find an appropriate setting. I don't know how many times I've had coworkers that come up to me and disclose very personal information about themselves at work. Very often at a place where I'm dealing with the public. If I'm when I've been a security guard and I have to check IDs and stuff like that, and I'm at the front desk, and they'll come up and want to start talking their personal information. No, if you want to do that, then maybe we can go to lunch or we can discuss it after work, outside of work. That's appropriate, and it's not manipulative. So, number 6, triangulation. Never let the other person use absence or create pain and conflict to keep you, the seduced, on tenterhooks. Robert Greene, The Art of Seduction. Robert Greene also did the 48 Laws of Power. Then he did also the 48 Laws of War, 48 Laws of War, and then The Art of Seduction. Triangulation is a devious and effective tactic in a manipulator's arsenal. The manipulator creates a triangle between you, him or her, and some third person outside of your relationship. It is intended to make you feel insecure about the relationship and therefore more eager to please the manipulator in order to keep him or her around. The manipulator will figuratively or literally bring another man or woman into the relationship in some way. They might talk casually and frequently about an old flame, a coworker, or someone they bump into regularly on their morning coffee run. Or they might obviously flirt with someone in front of you. Their interest in the other person creates insecurity. If they make subtle, unfavorable comparisons between you and the outside person, which they're apt to do, that makes it much worse. If you confront them, they will deny interest in the other person and tell you that the real problem is your insecurity or low self-esteem. Where have you heard that before? It is not uncommon for the manipulator to be grooming the other person as his or her next target while conveniently using that person to devalue and manipulate you at the same time. For example, the manipulator might flirt with another woman in front of you so that he can build his relationship with her while causing you to behave jealously, which then can be used as the reason to end your relationship. In a healthy relationship, you will know where you stand with your partner. A manipulator creates an ongoing sense of uncertainty, which leads to ongoing emotional angst. 7, blaming the victim. You've saddled me with a lie I never deserved. You led me to believe I was irresponsible. That's a quote from The Prize by Irving Wallace. With this tactic, the manipulator holds the victim responsible for the problems in a relationship. This tactic is a powerful means of putting you on the defensive, which makes you look guilty, or making you believe you're truly the one to blame. As the relationship goes bad, and when it finally comes to an end, the manipulator will claim that you are the one at fault. They may even manipulate mutual friends and family into believing you are the one to blame, turning them against you. Just when you need support, you find yourself with little or none. Skilled manipulators always pretend they are or were the victim. And we see a lot of this on television with politics. It plays out, these kinds of dramas, blame the victim, play out on television, when you're in politics on television, when you're dealing with, the presidential races or other types of Senate races and whatnot. Also, you'll see it in hearings of various sorts, like if they're going to be Supreme Court justices that are going to be confirmed or other people to be confirmed. You'll very often see this particular drama unfolding. But that's where I'm going to stop it for right now. We'll pick it up again tomorrow. But that brings us to the end of another episode of The Drill. And until next time, thank you very much for listening and have a great day.